Thank you for joining us for another journey on the path of creativity. Today we speak with a mixologist who has clearly mastered his craft, a dub poet who's made the tough decision to pursue his own dreams instead of the dreams of others, and a singer with an amazing voice and style. Welcome to Africa Creative. Mixology, bartending, call it what you will, but mastering this skill requires a high level of unique creativity.
My name is Mitto, and I'm a senior mixologist / bartender with over 12 years of mixology and bartending experience. The trade mixology, or the term mixology, refers to somebody who has the passion for bartending and has decided to take it a little bit further in terms of breaking it down to a science in terms of portions and knowing the ratios. So mixologists and mixology in a nutshell is the art of crafting cocktails with the aspect in mind of balance of ingredients, using the freshest ingredients and the best selected products on the market. And what makes the difference is now the passion and how the execution, which makes it come across as an art form in itself. Because the mixology is a skill, while a lot of people want to say art, but it is a skill that can be learned over doing things by repetition or reading books or researching. Now, what makes the difference now is the drive within that individual that will go the extra mile to try recipes, to try new things, pairing stuff, and taking it to like what you'd say like a chef aspect, breaking it down, knowing the portions. For example, a gin and tonic might be simple to you, but it's the mixologist now would work out the ratio to create that perfect balance to know how much gin to the amount of tonic and then the perfect garnish for that. So you wouldn't taste that gin first, or you wouldn't taste a lot of tonic. It is just seamless, it's just balanced. The drink is just refreshing and inviting, which leads to a repeat of the drink, which leads to more profit because the people wanting more, like a repeat business. What inspired me to take on the world of mixology was I was at training at Diageo's Learning for Life program by Red Stripe, and I had a teacher, a facilitator. Her name is Patrice McHugh. Patrice McHugh White. When she was doing the trainings, the level of passion that she put across in the training, and there was a niche at the time, and the things that I would hear, the doors that mixology is opening across the world, and also where it takes people. I mean, the traveling, the going to the seminars, the workshops, the people you meet. I mean, it was just an ignite that. And I was doing as an auto mechanic at the time. But with auto mechanics, you would stay in the back of the garage and fix the car. Well, this being, if you're a people person like I am, and somebody with patience and stuff like that, and an ability and I want to serve, then the bartending is obviously a field that you could look into. But being that I'm that person, I just found it so interesting. And when I started to do my research, the passion for it just start to grow more. You know, the people that I would see, the flair tending and the gastronomy, the molecular mixology, that part of it, I just piqued my interest. And then I started to pursue it even further and stuff like that. And then now I started to compete, which further ignited my passion when I started to meet people from all over the world, and then I started to represent not only my island, Jamaica, but as the region, as I had won the competitions, gone further, won the regionals, and then I represented the region and Jamaica at the World Finals and stuff like that. So that just created a fire inside of me to continue to just pursue this to the highest level. And I am here now, as the rest, they would say the rest is history and the future is a mystery, you know what I mean? Some of the difficulties young mixologists slash bartenders might face, I can speak from my experience when I just came in the field. And I had the opportunity to work with a company called Bars to Go. Very excellent company. They are one of the companies that kind of gave me the foundation and the opportunity to gain the woeful experience needed in the world of bartending and mixology. So some of the challenges I'd faced was there was a team already established, and being a new guy, the communication was, let's who is this new guy? Why they have to bring this guy? We're here already. We're a solid team already. We don't know this one. So you feel like excluded, and you'd ask for where the ingredients are, where stuff must be placed, and they didn't have a willingness to accept me at the time. I had to earn their respect and show them that I'm not here to compete with you guys. It's more like to add value to the company and add value to the team, bring in my skills and my knowledge, and then they would loosen up a bit. But the challenges are basically being that new guy, and there are people that have their camaraderie already, and you being the outside person, they're not willing to show you around or to help you find stuff. You know what I mean? If I wanted ice, I would have to go get it myself. But I didn't just go get ice. I would bring one for them. You know what I mean? If they say they want a case of beer, at the time I used to work out a lot. I would carry 4 cases. I wouldn't wait on the hand truck. So I would have to put in the work and put in more than the other guys. You know what I mean? While they're carrying 1 crate, I'm carrying 2 in each hand. You know what I mean? So they would say bad stuff behind my back, but there'd be guys that say, no man, this guy is here to do the work. He's doing great. And then I would get that inclusion on the team to say, all right, if there's an event coming up, no, you can use that guy because he works. He doesn't just sit around and watch who is working from who is not. I had to earn the respect. So definitely I would say the challenges faced is all based on the individual, how much of input he can bring to the table and earn the respect of his fellow bartenders and slash mixologists. Some of the rewards I've attained over the years of doing bartending and mixology, wow, there's so many. I mean, but I would say for me personally, on the top of my list is the network. The people, the other fellow bartenders and mixologists I've met all over the world. I mean, I can, if I need some knowledge or some theory on a particular product or somewhere, I can call my friend in New Zealand or email them. I can call somebody from Russia, Ukraine, Argentina, Spain. So the network is one of the best things, that camaraderie. I mean, competing as a bartender and meeting people from over 60 something different nationalities working on cruise ships as well. And I would say being inducted in the Diageo's Learning for Life Hall of Fame. I have a plaque there on the wall in the hall. Another tangible is I started my own company, the Wellskill Entertainment, where we do beverage service. We are beverage service providers that does promotional and mixology and recipe creations for corporate companies, as well as wedding signature cocktails and so on. And I won a lot of prize money, competing as well. And wow, awards, first place in this Trailblazer Awards. You can, if you Google my name right now, Ryan Mitto, you'd see some of the write-ups and some of the accolades that I've acquired over my career as a bartender and a mixologist. You know what I mean? It's just, I can't complain. You know, I've achieved under my belt some proud moments. You know, I just feel good when you go to bed. You go to bed with a smile on my face. Yeah.
Charlie Bobus, other than being a graphic artist and a farmer, among other things, he has dedicated a huge part of his life to his true passion, dub poetry. Let's hear Charlie's story.
Charlie Bobus, Inspirator International. Greetings. I'm a motivational dub poet from Kingston, Jamaica, and I'm also a graphics designer, actor. I'm doing voiceover acting on stage to air, and I'm also a motivational speaker doing workshops with the youths and poetry workshops, and I'm a farmer and a father. Dub poetry is performance poetry. Dub poetry is poetry performing on the rhythm. Like you can hear a built-in rhythm inside of the poem. Because dub poetry consists of dub music that has evolved from in the 1970s. Dub poetry started in the 1970s and has traveled over the world to Canada, Europe, and a lot of other countries.
Use your experience and get stronger. Don't sit around in regret any longer. Be careful how you use your anger. Let not the pain make you bitter, just better. Use your experience and get stronger. Don't sit around in regret any longer. Be careful how you use your anger. Let not the pain make you bitter, just better.
My beginnings as a dub poet, as I would say, I didn't choose dub poetry, dub poetry chose me. I used to be a DJ performing dancehall and going to stage shows and performing and going to the studio trying to bust as a dancehall artist until one day I changed my poem into a dub poem and performed on a show at Jamaica Vibes down by Aining Road. And from there I got invited to perform on a number of poetry events, and my art form just evolved into dub poetry, and I eventually left my work and started doing dub poetry and touring.
System set away some time. Make you feel they have to go do crime. Leaving their dreams and true purpose behind. Persistent, but still them can't find.
Dub poetry is a very expressive form, and my form of dub poetry, I term it as motivational dub poetry, which is my medium of spreading my inspiration to the world. Dub poetry is my vehicle to spread that message of love and hope. And that is one of the reasons I changed from dancehall, because dub poetry has a more natural element of being well spoken in terms of the issues that's really affecting the people and the oral tradition and preserving our culture as a people in terms of writing it and saying it, performing it, so the people can actually feel the words.
Just exploitation, them no see the sign. Seek in your heart and follow your own mind.
My message is one of change, one of using your experiences and getting stronger. As a motivational dub poet, if you check on the topic of my first album, Creative Energy, my message is to inspire the youths to use their creative energy to achieve their goals, to not sit around idling, but to spread that love of action. Because it's not about just getting the youths to jump up to your music. It's about spreading that positive message into their minds so they can also feel like they learned something listening to your poem.
Use your experience and get stronger. Don't sit around in regret any longer. Be careful how you use your anger. Let not the pain make you bitter, just better.
Well, I started working right after high school when my mother died. My grandaunt helped me to get the work, and I was doing office job, working in a motor vehicle insurance assessment firm, doing filing and doing the paperwork, but I always loved performing. and performing was my passion. And I always felt this tinging for the 8 years I was working in the office. And the fact that I was getting a lot of fight and held down in terms of financially, I thought it was the best thing in my life to go and pursue my dream other than to help someone else build their dream and follow their reality. So in 2005, I made the leap of stop working for people, and I started to full-time deal with my farm and my poetry career. And within 2 years, I was touring. I left to go Canada and Trinidad and Barbados. And if I was working in a job, that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't say I didn't get a lot of setbacks, because financially, not depending on a paycheck was a very hard decision, you know what I mean, in terms of always having a financial stability. But for that, I always produce my CD and my book, and I go around and I sell them to try to make a salary even when I'm not performing. So over the years, I developed that way of trying to use poetry, of creating an income, you know what I mean? So it is a very hard road, but I did it because I think that is my passion, to follow my dreams. What motivates me to continue and not give up is that signal sometimes that it's my destiny that I'm following, you know, that sometimes when people come up to you and say, you know, that poem really touched my life and it made me change, like even my poem, Use Your Experience, someone once told me that they were on the brink of committing suicide, you know what I mean, and they listened to my message over and over and it really helped them. But in terms of the drive to go on, as a culture artist, as a dub poet, some people say if you choose poetry, it's a starving career. But my drive is not the money, you know, it's the passion of spreading that message of love, that message of unity. Inspirator International, creating an empire out of poetry and going to build a poetry cafe, a poetry industry, a dub poetry industry, because dub poetry doesn't have that push behind it. And you know what I mean? I have the passion to be like the Bob Marley of dub poetry, to bring dub poetry to an international audience that really appreciate dub poetry more than even Jamaicans appreciate it. So going abroad and seeing how the people appreciate Jamaican dub poetry and our culture, that gave me a big drive to continue pushing it, you know? In terms of my poetry, my tangible reward is traveling to Barbados, to Trinidad, to Canada, and performing outside of my island and spreading my message and getting to use my talent to bring me around the world, you know, because a lot of artists, they perform and they do things all their life and they never get to express themselves to nobody outside of their community. So the reward of going out to the world and spreading my message was a very tangible reward from doing poetry. And in terms of my farm, seeing my coconut tree grow after so much years and be able to drink a coconut, to climb a coconut tree and be able to drink a coconut from that, to know that I planted that from a seed, that's a very tangible reward. I know that for years to come there will be more. To see my soursop tree, my pine trees like bearing, you know what I mean? To know that there is food there that was planted 20 years ago that is being reaped right now, even though I abandoned the farm didn't abandon me.
Karen Young, aka Kingdom Kulchad, female empowerment mentor, environmental specialist, and recording artist. Today we speak with her about her music and the message within.
I've been through many struggles, climbed some mountains and walked through some valleys.
Hi, I'm Karen Young, aka Kingdom Culture, and I am a recording artist. I am an environmental specialist. I'm a budding contractor, and I'm also a female empowerment mentor.
Shalom to you, shalom to you.
Music was always in my blood. From when I was a little girl, I just loved writing songs. I loved writing poems. And so, I would just, play drum at school on the desktop and write songs and so forth. So when I got a little bit older, like in primary school, early high school, and I learned about, rhythms and stuff like that, I usually look for the rhythms and write songs to them and link up with different persons who are in the music industry. And, the passion was always there until in 2020 when I decided to take it seriously and start putting out my music, and that's where Kingdom Kulchad was birthed.
Been through many trials, enough time snake and scorpion try bite me.
I do positive, wholesome music that can be enjoyed by the whole family. I believe that music is powerful. Music has the ability to change your mood. It has the ability to lift you up when you're down. It's a good way of conveying messages. Even you look at how people do commercials. Many times they use jingles, they use music because those things stick. Music makes the message stick. And so therefore, I believe as an artist, as a creative, it is my responsibility to ensure that when I'm putting my music out there, that any person that hears the music, that it inspires them, it uplifts them, it impacts them in a positive way. The same way I would want somebody to impact me, right? And I take my music very seriously because it represents me. It's not something that I'm doing for a trend or a style. I write from my heart. I write my own songs, and every song that I write is from my heart. It conveys my perspectives. It conveys how I feel about a certain thing. And so when you listen to my music, you basically meet Kingdom Kulchad. You don't have to meet me in person to know my thoughts, to know my feelings, to know how I view a particular thing. Once you hear the music, you're gonna hear Kingdom Kulchad. And I also believe that, I consider myself a messenger, and so therefore the music that I produce, that I create, always has a message there for somebody to take away from.
You and you look glue, dragging it alone, yet you try your best to bring him up, you try for build a home, but say you never met no picnic by your own, so how come you end up in that situation?
I consider myself a messenger, and so whatever that I put in my music, it has to be something that is going to impact persons in a positive way. It's either going to empower, it's going to liberate you, it's going to inspire you. It means a lot to me because I believe that when I can't physically be there for somebody through my music, it can have that impact. I can be able to touch somebody's life through my music, and so I take it very seriously, and it means a lot to me. I have a song that I wrote the other day that I'm currently working on. The topic is on child abuse, and when I was writing that song, I actually cried. I broke down because when I thought about the experiences of persons who have been through these situations and what I hope to achieve through this song in terms of really inspiring them and uplifting them despite what they've been through, I really broke down. So my music really means a lot to me because it really conveys what is on my heart.
When you feel it with that time, go when you're looking at him eyes. Oh, well, it feel like right, but you have to realize it will get better. It will get better.
I've always been passionate about empowerment, especially for young ladies. I grew up in the ghetto, yeah. And I saw a lot of things happening around me. I saw a lot of girls, young girls, getting pregnant, falling out of school, getting in very toxic, destructive relationships, and just basically see them grow up and their life go to waste. And I've always been passionate about persons not falling into that trap, especially young ladies not falling into that trap. Them really seeing themselves beyond their circumstances. And so even through high school, persons around me used to come and confide in me, talk to me, and I would be there for them and help them, and it's such a rewarding experience to be able to be there for somebody in their time of need. And so life just continued that way. People just kept coming, even though I have a group of young ladies that I'm mentoring. It's not like a structured program, like to say, okay, I have this structured program, but I avail myself to them when they want some advice, when they want somebody to talk to, when they need somebody to confide in, when they need somebody to pray with them. I'm there for them to help them to figure things out, because sometimes that's all we need. And I truly believe that the future that we want for tomorrow, we can secure that if we are willing to invest in the youth. We're willing to show them, to guide them, to help them, to not make the mistakes that we made, so that their future can be better.
It will get better. It will get better. The problems you're facing, them won't last forever. It will get better.
My word of advice to anybody who is struggling with following their passions, just go for it. You have these talents, you have these passions for a reason. You don't have them arbitrarily. God put them inside of you for a reason, for you to impact this world. And yes, you may not be an expert, but you know what Miles Monroe said that? He said that whenever you find yourself with a hobby or a talent or a passion, you should work on that. Work on that. Just as how you'd go to school and you get qualified for a job, you work on your talent, you get better. If you're a singer, you work on singing. If you're a songwriter, you work on writing. You get better at them, because God gave you these things to make your life more wholesome, more enjoyable, and for you to impact the world. So go out there, don't be afraid. And even if you are, just keep doing it afraid.
Going back, never going back. Pressing on to claim what is mine. I say I'm never looking back, no. Never going back. Leaving all my failures behind. I take my lessons, but I'm not going back. Never going back. No, 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 no. Hey.
Thanks for watching. There's more to come as we continue to explore the many creatives Africa has to offer. I'm Mila, and until we meet again, remain creative.